Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being American and YouTuber Ronin, and I would like to welcome you to our review of the controversial 2025 film Rush. Already in the chat, Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Cleary. Enigma Wasito, formerly Enigma Severus in the house. A name I'm seeing for the first time, Arlen Bryant. All right. Now, I watched a film for the first time. Just finished it about a half hour ago over on Western Cinema Presents with its creator and host, Outlaw Bill.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, we watched
All right.
Rust.
I did watch Rust. Okay, for those of you who did not join us earlier, this is, of course, the film where the cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, was shot and killed. This was in 2021. And the director, Joel Souza, was wounded. Several members of the production were brought up on various charges. Negligent homicide, manslaughter, very serious charges. And at present, only one person was convicted or did any time, and that was the armorer on the film. Now, as I explained earlier, I have kind of an interesting history with this film because the shooting on the set took place around the time that I started here on YouTube. And I did some reporting on this on a show that I used to co-host called Saturday Serial, which I co-hosted along with its creator, Matt Allen. And we decided after a while to kind of back off and wait until we knew all the facts, because there are a lot of rumors and innuendo flying around. And we decided, a woman has been killed. This is very serious. Let's not speculate. Let's not report rumor. We want to go into facts. So we kind of backed off of the story until, the trials began. So when Bill suggested watching the film, I kind of looked at it as this is sort of the end of the first act of my being here on YouTube. I feel that I've kind of come full circle to reporting on the making of the film and everything that was going on behind the scenes, to now finally seeing the finished project. So in my mind, and Bill, jump in with your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I will.
Where, just take the movie alone for what it is and push the controversy out of my mind, and just do not critique the people involved, critique the film, and I know that's I knew that was something that for me would be difficult to do in especially in the case of Alec Baldwin, because anybody's paid attention to my a channel for any length of time. I am not a big fan of this man.
Yeah, this has got
I
a mega online people
Yeah.
talked about the controversy and all the memes and all that around Alec Baldwin and yeah,
Mhm.
skeptic under this was during the COVID and the lockdown, so you know,
Yeah. So that had a lot to do too with
yeah.
the film not being released right away and there being delays. Um, so okay, put aside everything that took place behind the scenes, which we discussed already on during the show, and just take the movie for what it is. Basically, the story is you have this young boy, Lucas, who is essentially raising his brother on his own. Their parents are both deceased. There's an altercation in a general store between Lucas and the son of a local rancher.
Yep.
And through a chain of events, Lucas ends up accidentally shooting and killing the rancher. He is very quickly railroaded through a trial, and
And it didn't appear that there was any counsel given to the boy.
no, um, he has a relative who arrives in town after the trial in the guise of Miss Barrett, who is Frances Fisher's character. And tries to get some counsel for the boy. She's essentially asking for a retrial. The judge refuses. The boy is sentenced to hang. And in the middle of the night, uh, someone enters the jailhouse, kills two of the deputies, takes the boy. And we find out that this individual is one Harlan DeRust, a notorious outlaw. It's played by Alec Baldwin. And he is the boy's estranged grandfather. And the idea is, now that they are both on the run, is to basically get to Mexico before they are captured by the authorities, who are in the guise of a deputy sheriff who's played by Josh Hopkins, and a murderous bounty hunter by the name, who's called Preacher, Fenton Lang, who's played by Travis Fimmel. So it essentially becomes this chase film. Rustin Lucas being chased by the sheriff and his deputies, and you also have this bounty hunter who's not afraid to shoot through law enforcement to get his man. And it really becomes this character study. And it's an interesting film. It is very much an independent film.
Mm-hmm.
It is an art house film. Where I live, we used to have this art house movie theater called the Roxy that was in downtown Charleston, and had that theater still been open, I could very much see this movie playing there. And so it did have this kind of little weird bit of nostalgia to it for me because it brought me back to this again, to this, and I've talked about this before on other shows, this a type of filmmaking that I thought wasn't really done anymore. Um, so I will give it that. Its indie sensibilities are very much intact. It's obviously a movie that probably might not have been made if it did not have a name actor involved. So, I mean, love him, hate him, this movie would not have been made, period, without Alec Baldwin being involved or someone like him. It's a movie that needed a name, or it
Yeah.
just never would have been made at all. Um, Now, the way that the story itself is structured is very much like reading a Western novel. You can tell where the chapter stops would be. It feels very much like a movie that's being told in chapters. So, I'm a fairly avid reader, or at least I used to be. So, on that basis,
Mhm.
I like that. It is a story that is constantly unfolding, and you are learning things about the characters, or there's some action beat, or and I tell you, as far as that goes, it was a very well shot film. Um, Helena Hutchins, may she rest in peace. She did a very good job with this film,
I thought it had a pretty good storyline.
and it did have a good storyline. Um, and it is very well acted. I thought across the board. I
Yeah.
thought
Oh yeah.
I couldn't pick out a bad performance in that film.
No,
Now, when
nothing Razzie Award worthy. That's for sure.
no, and now the scene in question where the shooting took place is not in the film. So that sequence was originally intended to take place in a church, and in the final film, it takes place inside of a saloon. So that was a reshoot. We do know that there were other scenes that were also reshot, um, because there were actors who left the production, um, because obviously there was a delay. And I can tell you, it's the film itself is pretty seamless. If you didn't know going in what was reshot, I don't think you would really be able to tell.
Yeah, it was edited very very well. Yeah, you couldn't tell.
Yeah. So I mean, it isn't like super janky, like Madam Web or something like that. Um, where you can tell things were changed in the edit. The editing of this film is pretty seamless. And so, like I said, unless you knew going in, you wouldn't be able to tell what was reshot. I'm not saying that I don't have issues. And hello to Tune to News. Good to see you. Um, If I do have an issue, it does drag in the third act.
Yeah.
It is a movie that is probably 10 or 15 minutes longer than it really needs to be. Uh, I get it. It's a kind of movie in that in the way that it's paced, it's giving scenes room to breathe. Which I get it. It's fine, but I did think that that third act could have been
Shortened down.
shortened down. Um, so
Went on
yeah,
a little bit longer
yeah,
than you
it really
expect the third
needed.
act to go on.
Yeah. And in the end, that's probably my main issue with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
third
is.
act is the only reason
It
why I
dragged.
give the grade I give it.
Yeah,
Or
but
the rating I give.
I mean, other than that, I think the movie's actually pretty well made. And if it had not been for the incident on set and having really what they needed behind the scenes were more adults and somebody paying more attention, and it wouldn't have happened. I think this movie on its own would have done well because it does what it does. It is, for the genre, it is a good film.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty damn good western.
It has all the check
And
marks for all good westerns.
mhm. Is it sadly, yet the pacing is somewhat necessary because you could have the other argument that's not possible. How did one person be able to meet them where they were going to be? Yeah, because there is a point where all of the groups converge, and you have this other character that kind of gets thrown in kind of last minute, and it's sort of, wait, whoa, hey, what is your part in this, pal? um
It,
so there's a character introduction that I felt was a little rushed, but okay, whatever.
and the cinematography in this is excellent. I mean, the pulled back wide shots of the west and the towns and the mountains is just spectacular. I was really amazed with that.
Yeah, I mean, I,
The film makes you feel like you're in the old west
mhm.
and the mountains and stuff. It's true to a western style. It felt lived in.
It does. Yeah. So on that basis, technically nothing wrong with the film. Um, could have been edited down in the third act,
Yeah.
honestly. Um, the performances are not bad. We even had somebody in the Cosme chat who was like, "Damn it, you made me feel something for Alec Baldwin. Damn you, movie." you know, and it,
Yeah.
it does, because you see that there was a point in his character's life where he could have lived a very different life. And there's the scene where they find one of the things that's interesting is that the movie kind of peels his character like an onion. Onions have layers. you know
Hmm.
Onions have layers, ogres have layers. And Harland Rust is a man who has layers. And and when we get what his background was, and this turn that he makes in his life, and it could have been, he could have lived out a very different life than what he does, and it's an interesting character and interesting portrayal, and that's one of the things that I did like about it. And there are things that certain things that you think the characters are going to do and they don't, but in a good way. It's not a predictable film necessarily. I didn't feel like I wasn't sitting there going, I've seen this all before or anything. Um, I mean, you can tell what the influences were, but if you don't have an interesting enough story or interesting enough characters, then you'll dismiss it. But this movie has those. It is a good story, and the characters are very well drawn. And a lot of work went into this film, folks, and that's the sad thing about it, is that it's going to be, the film itself will be this obscure little scene film because of what happened, and that's going and it's kind of a shame that people are going to miss out on it. And if you decide because of that you don't want to see the movie, I get it. I understand. um and that's the bad thing about it, is that regardless of what the reviews for this movie will be, and I know it has its fans and it has, you know people
It's
who think
haters. It's
it's just
haters.
okay. It's mixed.
Yes.
It's mixed reviews, and I understand that. But then again, I also understand there are people who are just going to ignore this movie completely, and I get it. But jump in, Bill, if
Yeah.
whatever, if you
Okay.
if you if you have thoughts as far as that angle is concerned. If you think whether or not you think it's at least worth seeing or not, or
Well, I think if you're into westerns and movie film, definitely have a look at this one. Uh, Take time, and then then again, also watch the film because you know films aren't perfect. They're their own entity. When accidents happen, there's movie sets are supposed to be secure, and safety is should be top priority all the time. But this is one time where you know, as in many films that have come before it, where an accident happened and there's just no way around it, and it's a sad case, But I mean, I'm pretty sure the woman who's no longer with us would have liked you to see her body of work, and maybe that for that one reason, have a look at it, because she was working on something she loved doing, and sadly, it just an accident beyond her control, beyond you know. Give it a chance.
yeah. Enigma says you can also tell the mixture of the gunfights doing from off-screen results from the shots, and then they began showing full-screen shots. A good mix. One of the details with Clint Eastwood, Man with No Name trilogy, he began showing the gunfire and the results in one full shot, which is revolutionary. Yeah. This is definitely a film that I could kind of see Clint Eastwood maybe doing this film at a certain point in his career. He had Unforgiven. I kind of see this, if the accident on set had not happened, I think people would be looking at this movie as being Alec Baldwin's Unforgiven. You know, he that does seem to be what they're going for. So so there were some shots here that did very much remind me of a Clint Eastwood type film, especially the westerns that he was doing in the '80s up through Unforgiven. I'm not saying this movie's as good as that, but it at least strives to be. So, and hello to Lady Mist, in case I didn't say so before. Emoji Queen, good to see you. Um, I'm recommending the film, and our friend Padawannabe, we were on a live stream with him yesterday, and when we brought up the fact that we were going to do this film for Western Cinema, he said that despite everything, there was no excuse for it to not at least be good, and it's good.
Yeah.
It is surprisingly good. Um,
Yeah, I I couldn't find anything that I disliked about the film, except for, like we said, we've gone
it
over
yeah,
more than a
the
few times, is
Obi-Wan
that
Kenobi.
the third act, it just drug out a little bit longer than it should have.
Yeah.
It overstayed its welcomes in the third act. That's about my biggest pet peeve with the film.
Mhm. So yeah, my thought would be at least to see it, and if for nothing else, see what the cinematographer did. Watch her work.
Mhm. Yeah,
If you have no other reason to watch, at least watch it for that reason.
amazing body of work.
Very well done.
I was really, really impressive. It's impressive body of work.
Mm-hmm. Enigma says, I mean, it is somewhat poetic that Baldwin's character is looking for redemption in this film. One would hope he can do it in real life as well. We'll see. Um, Certainly, his character is certainly looking to make up for things, and it's up to you to decide in the end if he does or not. But it's an interesting film. I am glad that I saw it. I don't feel like I wasted my time seeing it, and I am going to give it a 3.5 out of 5.
I still rate movies with with a A through F, and so I give it about a C minus. C minus. It's a C minus
Mm,
for me.
okay. All right. Um, Anything further you'd like to say about the film, or anything connected with the film, or
No, it's just like, as we were saying, if not anything, if you have the time and you find yourself with a little over 2 hours to kill, and
Mhm.
have a look at it if you can, by however means. You might be impressed. Definitely, definitely. I mean, the most it's really impressive with their cinematography because it's amazing. The long pulled back shots are stunning. What a exceptional person that we lost there, and a cinematographer there.
Yeah.
So it's worth it's if anything, it's worth the look just for that.
And as we learned in the after credits bit that they put in at the end, the proceeds from the film are going to her family. So that's good to know. Enigma says, I think I would watch again to look for details that I missed. It wasn't as bad as some of the movies you discussed this year. No, I didn't think this movie was bad at all, really.
Yeah, a horde of YouTubers who badmouth it. If they would have a look at it, they might have something different to say about it. Because
Yeah.
I know critics on YouTube and YouTubers alike memed the hell out of this film and literally destroyed it before it even having a chance. I think they should really, you know, go back and look at the entire film because
Mhm.
they might retract some of their previous statements.
Yeah.
If anything, that's another reason to have a look at the film.
Yeah. Because this is one of the better ones this year, I think. I was like I said, I went into it open minded. I did my best to leave my opinions um, about the legal case out of it. My personal opinions on Alec Baldwin, leave them out, and see the movie for what it is and what it's trying to say. And I think it's a good film, and I think it's probably one of the better movies certainly this year, at least from the ones I've reviewed anyway. So yeah, the movie is available on Fandango at home. Um,
Prime Video.
it is on Prime Video. Okay,
Yeah.
so Prime Video as well. So yeah, um, I think it's well worth checking out. Enigma says I'd offer it a 6 out of 10. It's pretty correct in storyline. Few character arcs I'd want to adjust, but it's good. Yeah. All right. So, Bill, what do you have coming up?
Just the Thursday on
Mhm.
before the 4th, Kaiju July begins with Godzilla -1 minus the color on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific.
Yes, the beginning of Kaiju over on Action Theater. And what are we going to do for Western Cinema next week? Or do you have that in mind
I
yet?
have no idea yet. I
No
don't have a
idea?
clue.
Okay.
I don't have. Oh, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we definitely have a few in mind, folks, to do for that as well. So, all right, when we hammer out a film, then we'll let you we will let everyone know. But join us next week, same bat time, same bat channel, 4 o'clock on Sunday for Western Cinema Presents.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. All right. So I do want to thank everyone who joined us here in the chat. Enigma Severus, Lady Mist,
Hey, missed.
Connie Cleary, uh, Tune the News, and our first time guest, Arlen Bryant. I hope to see you more in more of our chats. Nice to meet you, sir. All right. Um, if you stay till the end, you will be redirected to my program Unscripted, which is a weekly show I do every Sunday at 8 p.m. Tonight, episode 113, A Star Rating System is Reborn. And so it's going to be more movie talk, folks, this week. Got the next couple of episodes planned out, so stay tuned. And of course, stay tuned to Bill's channel for Western Cinema Presents, Action Theater, and After Hours Karaoke on Wednesday and Saturday nights. And then, of course, watch out later in the year here for the Outlaw Bill Sports Network. From HQ, our second home office in Arizona, in all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night, take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy, because this is how we win.